The alien queen's palace shone under the twin moons. Towers of silver and crystal stretched high, reflecting the cold light. Inside, the queen moved carefully through the grand hall, her sharp eyes watching every guard and servant. She was proud, powerful, and feared by many. But tonight, something felt wrong. The hall was unusually quiet. The soft hum of the palace systems seemed muted. The queen paused, her instincts warning her. She had survived wars, betrayals, and assassination attempts, but tonight, the tension was different. A shadow flickered near the throne. Before she could react, her most trusted aide, Commander Vesh, stepped forward. His eyes, usually loyal, were hard and cold. "Your Majesty, I'm sorry," he said, and in that moment, betrayal cut sharper than any blade. Vesh raised a plasma dagger. The queen tried to dodge, but he was fast. The blade slashed across her arm, leaving a deep, burning wound. Pain surged, but more than that, shock hit her. How could someone so close do this? Her guards rushed in, but Vesh had already activated a hidden energy field, cutting them off. The queen stumbled, bleeding, and fell behind a shattered pillar. The palace alarms began to wail, but the sound was muffled by the chaos of the sudden attack. Outside the grand hall, more soldiers began to pour in, some loyal, some unsure, some under Vesh's control. Amid the chaos, a human soldier named Marcus had been exploring the outskirts of the palace. He had no business being there. His orders were simple: scout, observe, and stay hidden. But fate had other plans. Through a broken window, he saw the queen, pale and bleeding, struggling to rise. For a moment, Marcus froze. Humans had rarely seen aliens up close, especially not queens. She looked powerful yet vulnerable, regal yet wounded. Her eyes met his, and she whispered something almost inaudible. "Help me, please." The words hit Marcus like a shockwave. He wasn't supposed to interfere. Humans and aliens were not allies. There were rules, boundaries. But something in her voice, a mix of desperation and trust, made him move. Slowly, carefully, he crept through the debris toward her. The queen, noticing his approach, tried to remain calm. She had no time to explain. "If you want to survive," she hissed, "follow me. Do not hesitate." Marcus nodded, heart pounding. He could feel the weight of the moment, the danger surrounding them, and yet he knew he could not turn away. They moved through secret corridors, hidden doors, and dimly lit passageways. The queen's knowledge of the palace was unmatched. She guided Marcus with quiet commands, her bleeding arm leaving a trail of red across the white marble floor. Marcus was nervous, but he trusted her instincts. Every step felt like a gamble. As they turned a corner, they were almost caught by two palace guards. The queen pushed Marcus behind a column, then whispered, "Stay still, don't move." The guards passed, unaware of their presence. Marcus's pulse raced. Every moment could be the last. Finally, they reached a small chamber, hidden from the main palace corridors. The queen collapsed onto a low platform, pain evident in her eyes. Marcus knelt beside her, trying to assess the wound. "It's bad," he said honestly. "We need to stop the bleeding." She shook her head. "There's no time. The betrayal, it goes deeper than you can imagine. Vesh wants more than my life. He wants the throne, and he will stop at nothing." Her voice trembled slightly, though her usual composure returned quickly. "And now you are involved. There is no going back for you." Marcus felt a chill. He had never been part of such a dangerous situation. And yet, looking at the queen, seeing her strength and vulnerability at once, he knew he could not leave. "I'll help," he said firmly, "no matter what." The queen studied him for a moment. Then, almost imperceptibly, she nodded. "Good, but listen carefully. Vesh has spies everywhere. Even the walls have ears. You cannot trust anyone, not even the guards you see outside. And you must follow my orders without question." Marcus nodded again. Fear and adrenaline mixed inside him. Understood. They moved deeper into the palace, through hidden passages and abandoned chambers. Dust covered the floors, and broken furniture littered the hallways. It was clear that Vesh had prepared for this attack carefully. He wanted to trap the queen, and he almost succeeded. As they reached a small observation deck, the queen paused and looked out at the city below. Thousands of lights flickered in the distance, the alien city alive even in the chaos. "I once ruled this city without fear," she murmured. "Now it feels like I am just trying to survive." Marcus looked at her. "You're still strong. You survived worse than this before." She smiled faintly, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Strength alone is not enough anymore. Trust is what I need. And tonight, I have placed my trust in you." A sudden noise echoed through the hallway. Footsteps, fast and purposeful. Marcus and the queen exchanged a glance. Time was running out. They had to move. The queen whispered again, "There is a hidden exit. I used it once many years ago, but it is risky, dangerous. Are you ready?" Marcus swallowed hard. "I have no choice, do I?" She shook her head, a hint of pain in her expression. "No choice. If we stay, we die. If we go, we might survive. But survival is never guaranteed." They ran through narrow tunnels, their footsteps echoing. Occasionally, they had to crawl through small openings, scrape against walls, and avoid traps. Marcus realized how complex the palace was, how well the queen knew every hidden passage. He was in awe. Finally, they reached a small chamber with a heavy, metallic door. "This is it," the queen whispered. She pressed a sequence on a control panel, and the door slowly opened to reveal a long, twisting tunnel leading out of the palace. Before they could step inside, a loud alarm blared through the palace. Red lights flashed, and the sound of approaching soldiers grew closer. "Move," the queen commanded. They ran through the tunnel, barely noticing the darkness, the sharp corners, the uneven floor. Marcus's muscles ached, but adrenaline pushed him forward. The queen's hand, though bleeding, guided him firmly. Finally, they emerged outside, onto a rocky ledge overlooking the city. The twin moons bathed them in pale light. The city sprawled below, alive yet oblivious to the chaos in the palace. For a moment they were safe. The queen collapsed onto the ground, exhaustion and pain evident. Marcus knelt beside her, trying to help. "We made it for now," he said. She looked at him, her voice barely a whisper. "Marcus, remember this moment. You have changed the course of everything tonight, and you must be ready for what comes next. My enemies will not stop. And the betrayal, it is far from over." Marcus nodded, realizing the truth of her words. He had stepped into a world far beyond anything he had imagined. Trust, loyalty, survival, they were no longer simple words. They were life and death. As the wind blew across the rocky ledge, the queen leaned back, eyes closed, whispering a final plea to him. "Promise me, you will not fail. The galaxy depends on it." Marcus clenched his fists, determination burning inside him. He had no idea what challenges lay ahead, but one thing was clear: he could not abandon the alien queen now. Not when the stakes were so high, not when betrayal and death lurked around every corner. And so, in the shadow of the twin moons, the unexpected turning point unfolded. A human and an alien queen, bound by chance and fate, were about to face dangers that would test their courage, loyalty, and trust like never before. The night was far from over. The battle for survival had just begun. The wind whipped across the rocky ledge as Marcus helped the bleeding queen steady herself. The twin moons cast a silver glow, making the jagged rocks look almost beautiful, though deadly. Every sound in the night, the rustle of leaves, a distant howl, felt like a warning. Marcus had never been so alert in his life. The queen leaned against a rock, her strength fading. "Marcus, you have done well to survive this far," she said, her voice soft but firm. "But our troubles are only beginning." Marcus shook his head. I don't understand. Why me? I'm just a human soldier. I shouldn't even be here." The queen looked at him with piercing eyes. Humans are underestimated. That is why I chose you." Her lips trembled, revealing the faintest hint of pain. Your species is courage and the ability to make choices that no one else dares. Marcus's heart pounded. He wasn't sure if he was ready to trust her, or if he should. Rules, loyalty, survival, they all clashed in his mind. And yet, standing there, seeing her bleed, something inside him made the choice clear. "I'll help you," he said firmly. "No matter what it takes." The queen's eyes softened slightly, though her expression remained tense. "Good, but know this. Betrayal runs deeper than the palace walls. Even the guards you see may not be loyal. You must follow my instructions without hesitation. One wrong move and we die." They moved cautiously down the rocky path, away from the palace. The queen guided Marcus to an ancient forest, its trees tall and twisted, with roots like serpents crawling across the ground. Strange plants glowed faintly under the moonlight. Marcus realized this part of the planet was dangerous, even without enemies. The queen paused, scanning the forest. "We are not alone," she whispered. Marcus stiffened. Movement flickered among the trees. Shadows shifted unnaturally. They were being followed. From the darkness, figures emerged, alien predators, silent and deadly. Marcus froze, but the queen's hand gripped his arm. "Run," she commanded. They sprinted through the forest, branches slashing at their faces. Marcus stumbled, but the queen helped him up. The predators moved fast, but she seemed to anticipate every step. Finally, they reached a small clearing where a river reflected the moons. They paused to catch their breath. "We need shelter," Marcus said. The queen shook her head. "No time. Vesh has already sent scouts. He will know we escaped the palace. We must keep moving, or we will be cornered. There is a place, a hidden sanctuary I once trusted. Dangerous, but safer than anywhere else." Marcus hesitated. "And if it's a trap?" The queen's eyes hardened. "Then we die. But standing still guarantees death as well." Reluctantly, Marcus nodded. He had no choice. Following her meant risking everything, but staying meant almost certain death. They moved silently through the forest. Every snapping twig, every rustle of leaves made Marcus jump. But the queen was calm, almost unnaturally so. She seemed to know the forest intimately, avoiding pitfalls and hidden dangers. As they walked, she began to speak of her past, her voice quiet but filled with sorrow. "I was not always a queen," she said. "Once, I was a warrior, fighting to save my people from extinction. I trusted Vesh then, just as I trusted him now. But greed, ambition, it changes even the closest allies." Marcus listened, intrigued. For the first time, he saw her not just as a leader, but as someone who had fought, bled, and survived countless betrayals. "And now," he asked, "why betray your own people?" "The throne, power, some will do anything for it," she said. Her voice grew bitter. "Even if it means blood on their hands. Even if it means killing me." Suddenly, a rustling sound came from behind. Marcus tensed, reaching for his weapon, but the queen motioned him to stay still. From the shadows, a small figure emerged, not a guard, not an enemy, but a childlike alien. Its eyes were wide, innocent. "They are watching us everywhere," the queen whispered. "Even the smallest creatures can be spies. Do not trust appearances." Marcus realized how deep the betrayal ran. Every step, every shadow could hide an enemy. The weight of the situation pressed down on him, but he forced himself to stay focused. After hours of careful movement, they reached the hidden sanctuary. It was an abandoned fortress, overgrown with alien plants, almost invisible from above. The queen led Marcus inside, and they found a small chamber where they could rest. She examined her wound and grimaced. "It will take time to heal, but we have no time. Vesh will hunt us relentlessly. We must plan our next move carefully." Marcus, still shaken from the forest chase, asked, "What do we do now?" The queen's eyes glimmered with a mix of hope and fear. "We wait, we gather information, and we strike when the moment is right. But Marcus, this is not just about survival anymore. You must understand, What I am about to reveal will change everything you think you know about this galaxy. Marcus leaned forward, heart pounding. Tell me. I'm ready. The Queen hesitated. She looked at him, studying him as if deciding whether he could bear the truth. Then she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. Vesh, he is not the only threat. There are others, aliens from other systems, humans, even our own people. They want me dead, the throne destroyed, and chaos to spread across the galaxy. And they will not stop until their goal is complete. Marcus felt a chill. This was far bigger than he had imagined. He thought he was helping one queen, saving one life. But now he understood. The fate of many worlds could rest on their shoulders. The Queen placed a hand on his shoulder, bleeding but steady. Marcus, I am placing my trust in you. Not because I have no choice, but because I believe you are different. You can make choices that others cannot. But know this, your choice tonight will define everything. Marcus looked into her eyes. The weight of the moment crushed him. He realized the danger, the responsibility, and the potential consequences. Yet he also felt a strange sense of purpose. For the first time, he understood that he was part of something bigger than himself. Suddenly, the sanctuary's doors shook violently. Outside, shouts, blaster fire, and the unmistakable sound of soldiers searching filled the air. Marcus grabbed his weapon. They found us. The Queen nodded. I feared this. We must move quickly. There is a secret tunnel beneath the chamber. It leads to the cliffs. From there, we might escape. They rushed to the tunnel, the Queen leading, Marcus close behind. The path was narrow, dark, and treacherous. Each step could be their last. The sound of pursuit grew louder, echoing through the tunnels. Finally, they emerged onto a cliffside path, overlooking the city. The moonlight revealed the chaos below, the palace in flames, soldiers running, alarms blaring. The Queen looked down, her eyes filled with pain and determination. Tonight, she whispered, we became fugitives. But Marcus, remember this. A true warrior does not fight for glory, or even for survival alone. We fight for what is right, for trust, for hope. Marcus felt a surge of resolve. He knew the road ahead would be impossible. Betrayal, enemies, death, they would all come. But he also knew that with the Queen by his side, he had a chance to survive, to fight back, and perhaps to change the galaxy. As the wind howled across the cliff, Marcus and the Queen looked at each other. The dangerous choice had been made. The unexpected alliance between human and alien queen had begun. And in the darkness, under the twin moons, the first spark of hope flickered, fragile, yet unyielding. But they were far from safe. The betrayal was far from over. The galaxy was watching. And the decisions they made tonight would echo across worlds for years to come. The night stretched on, long and tense, filled with fear, hope, and the weight of impossible choices. And for Marcus, one thought remained clear. He could not fail her. Not now, not ever. The hidden sanctuary was silent except for the faint hum of old alien machinery. Dust floated in beams of silver moonlight that filtered through cracked windows. The Queen sat on a low bench, her bleeding arm pressed to her side. Marcus kept watch at the door, eyes scanning the dark for any movement. Every shadow, every flicker of light felt like a threat. You have done well to survive this far, Marcus, the Queen said softly, her voice carrying both gratitude and a hint of worry. But survival alone will not save us. Not now. There are truths you must know, truths that most could not handle. Marcus swallowed hard. He had already seen betrayal, violence, and death, but the Queen's words hinted at something far worse. I'm ready, he said. Tell me everything. The Queen's eyes, glowing faintly under the moonlight, held a depth of sorrow Marcus had never seen. Long before the palace fell into chaos, I discovered a conspiracy, she began. Vesh was not acting alone. There are others, alliances between human factions, alien warlords, and even some of my own council members. They want to destabilize this world, to destroy me, and to claim the throne for themselves. Marcus's heart raced. He had expected betrayal from Vesh, but an entire network of conspirators? This was bigger than he could have imagined. But why involve me? I'm just a soldier. Why trust me with this? Because, she said, her gaze locking onto his, I see something in you. Something different. A choice, a will, that is not bound by fear or ambition. You have the courage to act when others hesitate. Marcus felt a mix of pride and fear. And what exactly do you expect me to do? She leaned closer, her voice barely a whisper. For now, survive, learn, and trust no one. You may be the only ally I can rely on. Tonight, you are no longer just a human soldier. You are part of this struggle, whether you like it or not. As she spoke, a sudden vibration shook the floor. Both Marcus and the Queen froze. From somewhere deep within the sanctuary, an alarm sounded, a low, ominous pulse. Marcus tensed, hand on his weapon. The sensors, someone is here, the Queen muttered, her voice tight. They have discovered our location. Vesh's spies are relentless. We have minutes, maybe less. Marcus and the Queen moved swiftly through hidden corridors, ancient machinery whirring around them. The Queen guided him down staircases carved into the rock, past massive energy conduits that hummed with power. She knew every passage intimately, and Marcus realized she had prepared for betrayals like this long before. They reached a small chamber at the end of the corridor, where the walls were lined with data crystals, shimmering, alien technology that stored information in a form humans had never seen. The Queen pressed her hand against one of the crystals, and a holographic map of the city appeared, showing patrol routes, traps, and enemy movements. This, she said, is why Vesh fears me. I have knowledge he cannot control. And if it falls into the wrong hands, the entire city, even the galaxy, could be destroyed. Marcus stared at the holograms, trying to make sense of it all. So all of this, the palace attack, the betrayal, the hunters, it's part of something much bigger? Yes, the Queen replied. Her voice hardened. Much bigger. And that is why you must understand survival is not enough. You must be willing to act, to make impossible choices. A sudden crash echoed through the corridor. Marcus whipped around, weapon raised, but there was nothing. Only shadows and the faint hiss of machinery. His pulse raced. They're close, he whispered. The Queen nodded. Vesh has reinforcements. They are fast, trained, and ruthless. We must move again. But first, she paused, her expression unreadable. I must show you something. Something from my past that will explain everything. Marcus followed her through another hidden door. They descended into a cavern, deep beneath the sanctuary. The walls glowed with bioluminescent fungi, giving the space an otherworldly beauty. At the center of the cavern was a large chamber, and on a pedestal rested a crystalline device. This, she said, is the memory core of my ancestors. It contains knowledge, experiences, and secrets passed down through generations of rulers. And now it holds a record of betrayal that changed everything. The Queen placed her hand on the device. Light shot out, and images flashed before Marcus's eyes. Scenes of battles, political scheming, secret alliances. He saw the Queen as a younger warrior, fighting not just for power, but to protect her people. And then he saw the moment that changed her life. Vesh, her trusted aide, conspiring with other council members. Smiling while plotting her downfall. Marcus's stomach twisted. The betrayal had been in the making for years, hidden beneath loyalty and trust. She was not just betrayed tonight, Marcus whispered. It's been going on for years. The Queen's gaze was distant. Yes. And now, the same forces that tried to destroy me then are at work again. Only this time, they underestimate humans. And that is why you are here. Marcus felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. He had expected to help one queen survive. Now he realized he was part of a battle that could decide the fate of worlds. Fear threatened to paralyze him, but he shook it off. He had a choice. He would not fail. Suddenly, a flicker of movement caught his eye. Shadows emerged from the cavern entrance, soldiers, silent and deadly. Vesh's reinforcements had found them. The queen drew a small blade, energy flickering along its edge. Marcus raised his weapon, ready to fight. "Stay close," the queen whispered. "We fight together, or we die alone." The battle began. Shadows lunged from the darkness, weapons flashing. Marcus moved instinctively, firing at anything that moved, while the queen's blade cut through enemies with deadly precision. Every moment was life or death. The cavern echoed with the clash of energy, shouts, and the queen's commanding voice. Amid the chaos, Marcus noticed the soldiers were not ordinary. They wore modified human armor, enhanced for speed and strength. Vesh had combined technology from multiple factions. This was no ordinary attack. It was calculated, ruthless, and meant to end the queen's life once and for all. Marcus felt a surge of determination. He would not let her die. He moved faster, fought harder, protected her at every turn. And slowly, against impossible odds, they began to push the attackers back. Finally, after what felt like hours, but was only minutes, the last of Vesh's reinforcements fell or fled into the shadows. Marcus and the queen stood in the cavern, panting, injured, but alive. The glowing fungi cast eerie shadows on their faces, highlighting exhaustion, relief, and unspoken trust. The queen looked at Marcus, her expression softening. "You have done well. You survived your first real battle, and I could not have done it without you." Marcus shook his head, still catching his breath. "I had to. I won't fail you again." The queen's eyes gleamed, a mixture of pride and concern. "I know. But Marcus, the battle is far from over. The betrayals run deeper than you can imagine. Vesh will not stop. Others are watching. And now you know too much. There is no turning back." Marcus nodded. He realized the truth of her words. He was no longer just a human soldier. He was part of something bigger, something dangerous, and something that could change the fate of the galaxy. The queen placed a hand on his shoulder, faintly trembling from her wound. "Rest now, Marcus. We have survived tonight, but tomorrow the real challenge begins. You must be ready for what comes next." Marcus looked out over the cavern, thinking of the palace, the forest, and the shadowy threats that lurked everywhere. One thing was certain: his life, the queen's life, and perhaps the future of countless worlds now depended on their alliance. As the bioluminescent fungi pulsed softly, casting strange patterns on the walls, Marcus made a silent vow. He would fight, he would survive, and he would protect the queen at all costs. The secret revelation had changed everything. Betrayal, danger, and impossible choices awaited them. And as the night deepened, Marcus understood one chilling truth. In this galaxy, trust was rare, survival was fleeting, and the consequences of failure. The first rays of dawn barely touched the horizon as Marcus and the queen emerged from the glowing cavern. The air was crisp, filled with the scent of alien flora. For a moment, Marcus thought they might finally have a chance to breathe, to rest. But the queen's gaze, sharp as a blade, reminded him that danger was far from over. "They know we survived," she whispered, her voice low, almost a growl. "Vesh's reinforcements will regroup. He will send more hunters, faster and smarter. If we stay here, we die." Marcus tightened his grip on his weapon. He had expected this. "Then we leave. Now." The queen nodded, guiding him through a narrow canyon hidden behind the cavern. The walls were jagged, almost razor-sharp, and the path twisted unpredictably. Every step required caution. Even in the daylight, shadows played tricks on the eyes. Marcus felt the tension building inside him. Every noise, every shift in the wind could signal an ambush. They reached an abandoned hoverport, half buried under alien vines. The queen's eyes scanned it, calculating. "This ship is our only chance," she said, pointing to a small, sleek craft. Its hull was scratched, but it looked functional. But getting it started, "Vesh has locked the primary controls remotely. He wants to trap us." Marcus frowned. "Then we hack it?" The queen shook her head. "No. That would take too long, and we don't have time. We will bypass the system. I know a way, through the auxiliary circuits. But it's risky. One wrong move, and the ship will self-destruct. Marcus swallowed hard. Risky sounds exactly like what we need. She smiled faintly, then crouched beside the control panel. Her alien fingers moved over the buttons and circuits with precision Marcus could not match. Sparks flew as she bypassed the locks, her focus absolute. Every now and then, a soft hiss or click echoed in the chamber, making Marcus jump. Finally, the ship powered on. Lights flickered across the cockpit, and the engines hummed to life. Marcus exhaled. We did it. The Queen's expression remained tense. Not yet. We still have to leave the planet, and Vesh will not let us go easily. No sooner had she spoken than a warning siren blared. Outside the hoverport, dozens of Vesh's troops appeared. They were faster, more organized, and heavily armed. Marcus realized that this escape would not be simple. Get ready, the Queen said, her voice steely. We fight while we flee. There is no other choice. They sprinted toward the ship as blaster fire tore through the hoverport. Marcus fired instinctively, taking down enemies one by one. The Queen moved with fluid grace, her blade cutting through metal and armor, deflecting attacks with deadly precision. The synergy between them was uncanny, human and alien, instinct and strategy, fighting as one. Marcus felt a rush of adrenaline. He had trained for battles, but nothing like this. The Queen's calm in the storm gave him courage. Every swing, every shot, every step was survival. Finally, they reached the ship. The Queen slammed the hatch closed behind them and activated the liftoff sequence. The engines roared, lifting them off the ground as blaster fire slammed against the hull. Sparks flew, and alarms blared inside the cockpit. We have to shake them off, Marcus shouted, gripping his seat. The Queen leaned over the controls, eyes scanning the horizon. Hold tight. This will be rough. The hovercraft shot into the sky, weaving between cliffs and rocky outcrops. Vesh's forces followed, faster than expected. Marcus could see them through the viewport, hundreds of soldiers and attack drones. The Queen maneuvered with skill, diving and twisting, narrowly avoiding explosions and gunfire. We need a diversion, she said. Marcus looked around, seeing the dense forest below. The canyons, she said. We can lure them there. Too many obstacles for them to follow, without risking their ships crashing. Marcus nodded, understanding instantly. Do it. The Queen guided the ship into the twisting canyon below. The walls rose high, jagged and dangerous. Vesh's ships followed, some already scraping against rocks. Explosions erupted as missiles missed their mark. The Queen's knowledge of the terrain gave them an advantage, though the danger was immense. Suddenly, a drone exploded near the cockpit, shaking the ship violently. Marcus grabbed the controls instinctively, trying to stabilize it. The Queen yelled commands, her voice cutting through the chaos. Sparks flew inside the cockpit as the ship tilted dangerously. Were unimaginable. But he would not fail. Not now. Not ever, Marcus. Trust me, she shouted. We must go through the narrowest gap. He hesitated for a split second, just enough to feel the terror, but then nodded. Together, they guided the ship through a tiny crevice between two towering rock formations. The walls scraped dangerously close, but they emerged unscathed, leaving Vesh's forces behind. The Queen exhaled, wiping sweat from her brow. This canyon is our shield for now. Marcus looked out the viewport, catching sight of the city far below, smoldering from the previous battle. He felt a pang of sadness and determination. We can't let him win. Not after all this. The Queen nodded. No. And that is why we move to the next stage of the plan. We will go to the outer colonies. There, we will gather allies, prepare for the counterattack, and reveal Vesh's betrayal to the galaxy. Marcus's heart raced. Allies? From where? Humans, aliens, everyone hates each other. The Queen smiled faintly, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. You will be surprised. Desperate times make strange alliances. But first, we must survive the journey. Hours passed as they navigated the rugged terrain, the hovercraft dodging patrols and ambushes. Marcus and the Queen took shifts, scanning for threats and keeping the ship stable. Every sound, every shadow, every flicker of light could be an enemy. The tension never eased. At one point, they descended to a river valley, using the dense mist and cliffs as cover. Marcus marveled at the alien world, the beauty, the danger, and the mystery it held. "I never imagined a place like this," he said quietly. The Queen glanced at him. "This world is older than your species. It has seen empires rise and fall, and now you are part of its story." Marcus felt the weight of her words. He realized that this escape was not just about surviving Vesh. It was about preparing for something much larger, something that could change the balance of power across worlds. As night fell, the hovercraft approached the edge of the forest. Marcus scanned the horizon, seeing movement, drones, patrols, and signs of Vesh's relentless pursuit. The Queen activated stealth mode, cloaking the ship temporarily. "This will buy us time," she whispered. "But it will not last long. Vesh is clever. He will find us again." Marcus nodded, determination burning inside him. "Then we keep moving. We fight, we survive, and we win." The Queen placed a hand on his shoulder, her bleeding arm trembling slightly. "You are learning quickly, Marcus. But remember, this is only the beginning. The escape was the first step. The real challenge is yet to come." The hovercraft shot into the dark horizon, leaving the forest and danger behind, for now. But the shadows of betrayal, enemies, and impossible choices loomed ever closer. And in that moment, Marcus understood a chilling truth. The galaxy was full of threats, but trust, courage, and quick thinking could turn the tide. He would not fail the Queen. He would not fail himself. The escape plan had worked, but the journey had only begun. And as the twin moons rose again, casting silver light on the horizon, Marcus and the Queen prepared for the next stage of a war that could change everything. The twin moons hung low over the horizon, casting long shadows across the rocky cliffs where Marcus and the Queen had landed. The hovercraft rested quietly among jagged rocks, its engines cooling after the dangerous canyon chase. For a moment, silence fell, almost peaceful, but the Queen's sharp eyes betrayed her unease. "They are waiting," she murmured, her voice barely audible. Marcus turned to her, sensing the tension. "Who?" he asked, scanning the horizon. "Vesh and his allies. They know we are alive. They are planning something deadly." She paused, biting her lip, her gaze distant. "I can feel it in their strategy. They are no longer hunting, they are setting a trap." Marcus's stomach tightened. They had survived ambushes, forest predators, and the hovercraft chase, but the idea of a trap filled him with dread. "Then we prepare. We can't be caught off guard again." The Queen nodded. "Yes. But this time, it is personal. Vesh wants to humiliate me before he kills me, and he will use everyone around us to do it." They moved cautiously toward a nearby cliffside settlement, one the Queen had once trusted as a temporary refuge. The small alien village was abandoned now, overgrown with luminescent vines and creeping moss. Broken lanterns swayed in the wind, casting ghostly shadows. Marcus felt the tension rise with every step. "It feels wrong," he muttered. The Queen's eyes narrowed. "It is wrong. That is why it is perfect. Vesh thrives on overconfidence, on predictability. He expects us to run straight into his trap, but we must be smarter." They entered a small chamber at the edge of the village, where the Queen placed her hand on a holographic device. It flickered to life, projecting the layout of the surrounding terrain. Small red dots, Vesh's scouts, were already moving in formation. "He's already close," the Queen said, her voice cold. "We cannot outrun him forever. We have to fight, but on our terms." Marcus clenched his fists. "Then let's make sure it's a fight he won't forget." The Queen's lips curved into a faint, grim smile. "Good. But first a warning. Vesh has learned from every encounter. He will exploit our weaknesses. Trust no one, and expect betrayal from the shadows, even from those we think are allies." They spent hours preparing the chamber for defense. The queen set traps, energy mines, hidden pitfalls, and automated defense turrets, carefully calibrated to target only enemies. Marcus helped where he could, placing sensors and reinforcing barricades. His military training was primitive compared to the queen's strategic genius, but she valued his input. Night fell, and the trap was ready. The air grew tense as shadows moved along the cliffs. Marcus crouched by the door, weapon ready, eyes scanning the dark. The queen stood beside him, her blade humming with lethal energy. "They are coming," she whispered. From the darkness, shapes emerged, Vesha's soldiers, cloaked in stealth armor, moving silently toward the settlement. But Marcus and the queen were ready. The moment the first soldier stepped onto the traps, alarms blared, energy nets deployed, and automated turrets fired precise blasts. Screams echoed in the night as Vesha's troops fell into the queen's carefully orchestrated trap. Vesh himself was not among them. He was waiting, watching, calculating. The queen's eyes narrowed as she sensed his presence through the psychic link she had cultivated over years of rule. "He's watching," she whispered. "He wants us to think we have won, but the real danger is yet to come." Marcus's pulse raced. "Then we finish this before he strikes?" The queen nodded. "We have no choice. Vesh will escalate. We must draw him out, but carefully. His arrogance will be his weakness." They moved silently through the village, luring remaining scouts into the traps. Marcus felt a thrill of adrenaline. This was more than survival. It was strategy, cunning, and raw instinct. Every step mattered. Every sound could mean life or death. Suddenly, a blinding light flashed from the cliffs above. Vesh had arrived, descending in a hovercraft equipped with energy shields and weapons. Marcus felt his heart skip a beat. He had seen Vesh's intelligence, but this display of firepower was beyond anything he expected. The queen's hand gripped his shoulder. "Stay close. Follow my lead. This is the moment we must turn the tide." The battle erupted. Blaster fire tore through the air as the queen and Marcus moved in perfect coordination. Marcus fired at Vesh's drones, while the queen's blade cut through guards with deadly precision. Sparks flew, and explosions shook the cliffs. Vesh's hovercraft unleashed a shockwave, toppling some of the queen's traps. Marcus stumbled but regained his footing, firing at the attackers. Every second was chaos, yet the queen remained calm, calculating each move. Then Vesh appeared on the ground, stepping out of his hovercraft with a wicked smile. "You think you can escape me?" he sneered. "You are trapped, queen, and your human ally is nothing but a pawn." The queen's eyes blazed. "You underestimate us, Vesh. Always." Marcus felt a surge of determination. He would not let Vesh harm her. He moved forward, protecting the queen, intercepting attacks, and buying her time to strike. Vesh lunged, but the queen anticipated his move, spinning gracefully and slicing through his weapon. Sparks flew as metal met energy blade. Marcus fired at remaining soldiers, driving them back. The battlefield was a chaotic blur of light, sound, and motion. Then, unexpectedly, Vesh activated a hidden device, a pulse that disrupted the hovercraft, the traps, and even the queen's energy blade temporarily. Marcus felt the ground shake as the queen stumbled, her arm bleeding anew. "Marcus," she shouted. "Now. Help me disable it." With courage and precision, Marcus sprinted toward the device, dodging debris and energy arcs. The queen covered him, deflecting attacks with her blade. Marcus reached the device, working quickly to shut it down. Sparks and smoke filled the air, but finally, with a click, the pulse ceased. The queen's eyes met his. "Well done. That was unexpected." Marcus exhaled, adrenaline surging. "We're not done yet. He's still alive." The queen nodded, her expression grim. "Yes. And now it is time for the final move. Vesh has underestimated the strength of trust, Marcus. And that will be his downfall." Together, they pressed forward, leading Vesh into a canyon where the terrain worked in their favor. Narrow cliffs, sharp rocks, and the queen's traps turned the battlefield into a labyrinth. Vesh and his forces struggled, faltering under pressure, while the Queen and Marcus moved with fluid coordination. Finally, Vesh's forces were defeated or fled, leaving him alone and vulnerable. The Queen approached him, blade ready. "It ends here, Vesh," she said, her voice icy. "You betrayed me once. Now you face the consequences." Vesh sneered, but there was fear in his eyes. "This isn't over," he spat. "You think you've won, but the galaxy will destroy you both." The Queen tilted her head, calm and unshaken. "Perhaps. But tonight, your betrayal ends. And Marcus, tonight, you have proven your strength, courage, and loyalty. I could not ask for a better ally." Marcus felt a mix of relief and exhaustion. The trap had worked, the enemy defeated, and their bond, human and alien, had solidified under fire. But he knew the danger was far from over. As the twin moons bathed the canyon in silver light, the Queen turned to Marcus. "Rest for now. But remember, Vesh's shadow looms larger than we imagined. The galaxy will test us again. And next time, we must be ready." Marcus nodded, understanding the weight of her words. They had survived the betrayer's trap, but the battle for trust, survival, and power was only beginning. And in that moment, under the cold, silver moons, Marcus realized one undeniable truth. Loyalty, courage, and careful. The night was quiet now. Almost too quiet. The canyon where Marcus and the Queen had defeated Vesh's forces stretched into shadowy darkness, lit only by the pale glow of the twin moons. The Queen sat on a jagged rock, her energy blade resting beside her, while Marcus knelt near her bleeding arm, trying to bandage the wound as best he could. "You fought well," she said softly, her voice almost fragile. "Tonight, you showed courage, loyalty, and strength that surpasses even my expectations." Marcus shook his head, exhaustion etched on his face. "I didn't do it alone. You guided me. Without you, I would have failed." The Queen's eyes glimmered, a mix of gratitude and sorrow. "Marcus, there is something I must tell you, something I cannot hide any longer." Marcus leaned closer. His heart raced. He had faced betrayals, ambushes, and death, but the Queen's words carried a weight unlike anything before. "What is it?" he asked. The Queen took a deep breath, closing her eyes briefly. When she opened them again, they were filled with pain and resolve. "I was betrayed not just by Vesh, but by those I trusted most. My council, my allies, even some of my own soldiers, they wanted me dead. And tonight, by surviving this battle, I have placed you, a human, at great risk." Marcus frowned, trying to understand. "You mean, I was part of this because you trusted me?" She nodded slowly. "Yes. And more than that, there is a choice you must make. A choice that could change everything, for you, for me, and for the galaxy." Marcus's pulse quickened. A choice. The Queen's gaze held his, steady and unyielding. "I am bleeding, Marcus. Vesh has been defeated, for now. But my enemies are many, and their reach is long. I cannot fight alone. I need someone I can trust to stand by my side, to help me reclaim the throne and protect my people." Marcus swallowed hard, sensing the gravity of her words. "You want me to what? Become your ally, your partner?" The Queen's lips curved faintly, but her eyes remained serious. "Not a partner in your sense, but a bond of trust. I am asking for more than loyalty. I am asking you to risk your life, your future, everything, to save not just me, but countless lives across the galaxy." Marcus's mind raced. Every moment of the past days, the betrayals, the battles, the traps, the trust, had led to this moment. He hesitated. His mind weighed the risks. Aligning with her meant leaving everything behind, his people, his world, and possibly his life. But he had already made a choice once, when he saved her in the palace, and he had no regrets. "I will do it," he said firmly. "Whatever it takes. I won't leave you, not now." The Queen's eyes softened, relief washing over her. She placed her hand on his shoulder, faintly trembling. "Marcus, your courage is rare. But know this, the path ahead is dangerous. Betrayal may come again. Death may be close, and the decisions we make will haunt us forever. Marcus nodded, understanding the weight of her words. I've already walked through fire to reach this point. Whatever comes next, I will face it with you. For a moment, silence fell. Only the wind whispered through the canyon, carrying the faint scent of alien flora. Then, unexpectedly, a low vibration shook the ground. Both Marcus and the Queen tensed. They've found us again, the Queen whispered, her eyes narrowing. Vesh is alive. He may be wounded, but he is not defeated. And he will come for vengeance stronger, smarter, and more ruthless. Marcus gritted his teeth. Then we finish this, together. The Queen's lips trembled. Marcus, what I am about to ask may shock you. It is dangerous, nearly impossible, but it may be the only way to secure the future of my people and yours. Marcus held her gaze.
Tell me.
I can handle it. She closed her eyes for a moment, then spoke, her voice steady but urgent. There is a hidden chamber in the palace, a chamber that holds the key to controlling the planetary defense systems. If we activate it, we can protect the planet from Vesh and his allies, but the risk is immense. The chamber is trapped, guarded, and anyone who enters may not return. Many who tried have died. Marcus felt a chill. So, you want me to go inside? The Queen shook her head. Not alone. We go together, but know this, the chamber will test everything about us. Courage, trust, skill. It may take both of us to survive. And it may demand sacrifices we cannot predict. Marcus's mind raced. He thought of everything they had faced. Ambushes, forest predators, drone attacks, and betrayal. Nothing seemed impossible anymore. But this sounded like walking into certain death. Yet he also knew the truth. They had no other choice. I'm with you, he said, his voice firm. Whatever happens, we do this together. The Queen's eyes shimmered with emotion. Thank you, Marcus. I have trusted many, and I have been betrayed. But you're different. I believe in you. And now, the fate of everything depends on our next move. Together, they prepared for the journey back to the palace. The canyon echoed with the sounds of the night, distant howls, rustling winds, and the faint hum of energy from Vesh's remaining forces. Every step felt heavy with anticipation, yet charged with purpose. As they moved through the jagged terrain, Marcus glanced at the Queen. Why me? Why a human? She paused, her expression unreadable. Because humans, you have something others lack. Choice. Courage is not only about strength or skill, it is about the decision to act when failure seems certain. You chose to save me in the palace. And that choice has changed everything. Marcus felt a mix of pride, fear, and determination. Then I won't fail you again. I promise. The Queen reached out, touching his hand gently. Marcus, tonight you face your final test. Not just of skill, not just of courage, but of trust, loyalty, and the willingness to risk everything for what is right. Are you ready? Marcus looked out at the dark horizon, the palace looming in the distance, and the twin moons above casting silver light on the path ahead. He clenched his fists, heart pounding. I am ready. The Queen nodded, determination blazing in her eyes. Then let us move. Every second counts. Vesh is out there, and he will stop at nothing. But together, we are stronger than he imagines. As they began the long, treacherous journey back to the palace, Marcus understood the truth of her words. The night ahead would test everything: skill, courage, trust, and loyalty. Betrayal lurked everywhere, danger was constant, and the stakes were higher than ever. But for the first time, Marcus felt a strange sense of peace. He was no longer just a human soldier caught in alien politics. He was a choice maker, a protector, and a warrior standing beside the Queen he had vowed to defend. The night stretched before them, dark and full of threats. But together, Marcus and the Queen prepared to face the impossible. The final plea had been made, the ultimate trust placed, and the galaxy's fate hung in the balance. And as the twin moons shone above, casting silver light over the canyon, Marcus whispered to himself, I will not fail no matter what comes next. The palace loomed ahead like a dark sentinel, its towers broken, walls scorched from the previous battles. Marcus and the queen crouched behind a ridge overlooking the main courtyard. The twin moons reflected off the cracked windows, casting jagged shadows that danced like specters of the past. This is it, the queen whispered, her energy blade humming faintly. The secret chamber lies deep within the palace. If we activate the defenses, we can secure the planet, but Vesh will not let us reach it easily. Marcus tightened his grip on his weapon. Then we strike carefully. No mistakes this time. The queen nodded, scanning the surrounding area. We move through the service tunnels. Avoid patrols, but expect traps. Vesh has prepared everything for this moment. He is clever, but arrogance blinds him. They slipped into a narrow, shadowed corridor. Dust and debris crunched under their feet, echoing through the empty halls. Every corner seemed like it could hide death. Marcus felt the tension like a living thing, coiling in his chest. They will come, the queen said softly. Vesh will attack when we are close to the chamber. He wants to test our resolve, our trust in each other. Remember, every step counts. Hours passed as they moved through labyrinthine tunnels. The air grew stale, and the faint hum of energy from the palace's core grew louder. Marcus noticed strange symbols etched into the walls, ancient alien runes, glowing faintly. The queen traced her fingers along them. These runes, they guide us, she whispered. They were placed by my ancestors. Only those who truly understand trust, courage, and sacrifice can follow them safely. Marcus marveled at the complexity of the palace. Every corridor, every turn, every trap seemed designed to challenge not just strength, but character. He realized why the queen trusted him. His instincts, his courage, and his choices had brought them this far. Suddenly, a metallic clang echoed through the corridor. Marcus dropped to the floor, dragging the queen with him. Shadows flickered at the far end. Vesh's elite guards, moving silently, weapons raised. Prepare yourself, the queen whispered. We fight as one. The battle erupted. Blaster fire echoed off stone walls. Marcus moved instinctively, covering the queen while she struck with her blade, deflecting attacks and cutting through metal with lethal precision. The guards were trained, ruthless, but the queen and Marcus fought with synchronized skill, anticipating each other's moves. One guard lunged from behind, energy blades swinging. Marcus grabbed it midair, twisting violently and throwing the enemy into the wall. Another guard aimed at the queen, but she leapt, spinning through the air, slicing the weapon in two. Sparks flew. This is it, Marcus shouted, adrenaline pumping. The chamber is close. The queen nodded, scanning the corridor ahead. Keep moving. Trust the runes, they guide us. They reached a massive door, engraved with alien symbols and glowing faintly. The queen placed her hand on a panel, energy flowing from her fingertips. The door shuttered, then slowly opened, revealing a vast chamber filled with glowing machinery and crystal conduits. This is it, the queen breathed. The heart of the palace, the key to planetary defense. Marcus stepped forward, eyes wide. The room pulsed with energy, machines humming in synchronization. In the center, a crystalline console projected a holographic map of the planet. Lights flickered over cities, landscapes, and orbital satellites. We activate this, the queen said, and the planet's defenses will be under our control. But we must be fast. Vesh will arrive any moment. As they approached the console, alarms blared. The door behind them slammed shut. Marcus and the queen turned to see Vesh himself, stepping from the shadows, a wicked smile on his face. You made it almost too far, he sneered. But this ends now. The queen's eyes blazed. Vesh, you have underestimated us. Always. The battle began again, but this time the stakes were higher. Marcus and Vesh clashed in close quarters, blades and weapons sparking with every strike. The queen moved with precision, manipulating the console while fending off attacks. Vesh activated hidden traps, energy barriers, spinning blades, and automated drones. Marcus dodged, deflected, and countered. Every move was calculated, every second critical. The queen shouted, "Marcus, cover me. I need 3 minutes to finish the activation." Marcus fired at approaching drones, deflecting them with makeshift shields. His heart pounded. One wrong move, 1 second of hesitation, and they would die. Vesh lunged, catching Marcus off guard. Marcus stumbled, nearly falling into a spike trap. But the queen struck Vesh from behind, energy blades slicing through his armor. Vesh roared, staggering back. "Almost there," the queen yelled. Her hands moved over the console, energy flowing into the planetary defense network. Lights flashed across the room. Satellites aligned. Turrets on the planet's surface activated, forming a defensive grid. Vesh recovered, charging again. "You think this will stop me?" Marcus met him head-on, blocking the strike. The impact threw both of them backward, crashing into the wall. Pain shot through Marcus, but he forced himself to stand. The queen, bleeding from her earlier wounds, pressed the final sequence on the console. A pulse of energy surged through the chamber. The holographic map blazed with light. Planetary defenses activated. Orbital cannons powered up, shields flared, and distant enemy fleets detected the sudden activation, confused and forced to retreat. Vesh froze, realizing his plan had failed. "No, this cannot be," he growled. The queen stepped forward, blade raised. "It is over, Vesh. Your betrayal ends tonight." Vesh made one final desperate strike, but Marcus intercepted, knocking him down. The queen leapt, her blade cutting through his remaining defenses. Vesh fell to the ground, defeated, his eyes filled with disbelief and fear. Marcus and the queen stood over him, breathing heavily, injuries marking their bodies. The palace hummed with energy, its secrets and defenses now secure. The queen looked at Marcus, eyes softening. "We did it together. The betrayal has ended, and the planet is safe for now." Marcus nodded, exhaustion and relief washing over him. "We survived, and we won. But what now?" The queen smiled faintly. "Now we rebuild. Trust must be restored. Alliances must be formed. And you, Marcus, you have proven yourself not just a soldier, but a hero. You changed the fate of countless lives tonight." Marcus felt a warmth in his chest. He had faced betrayal, near-death battles, and impossible choices. But standing here, with the queen alive, Vesh defeated, and the planet's future secured, he realized something profound. Courage, trust, and loyalty could indeed change the course of destiny. The queen placed a hand on his shoulder. "The galaxy is vast, Marcus. Danger will return. Betrayal may rise again. But together, we can face whatever comes next." Marcus looked at the horizon, the twin moons casting silver light across the palace. "I'm ready," he said firmly. "Whatever comes." The queen's lips curved into a faint, hopeful smile. "Then let us begin. The future we were meant to create." And as they stood together, wounded but unbroken, the palace around them began to hum with renewed life. The betrayer was defeated, trust had been forged in fire, and the galaxy held its breath, awaiting the next chapter of a story written by courage, loyalty, and the bond between a human and an alien queen.